But what about this Gunnar Henderson guy that we have here? He put together and he launched that thing yesterday. It was gone right off the bat. A 3-for-3 day for him. I mean, we're talking early MVP. The odds are shifting. To me, though, this was, again, wasn't necessarily the prettiest series I've ever seen, but you know what? They got the job done. They won another one. And guys just getting timely hits, timely outs, that's what it takes sometimes, where you don't have to be perfect. Not everybody has to go 3-for-3 like Gunnar did, but it was a group effort. And I think overall you can call a 4-2 road trip. That's pretty successful.
Yeah, I mean, for Gunnar, too, by the way. Well, here you go, Zach. You just put up the tweet, and I'll read it out for people, and we can talk about it. Gunnar Henderson's last 10 games, hitting .450 with 5 jacks, 11 ribbies, 18 hits, and an OPS north of 1,000, well north at 1.436. This is Gunnar Henderson. Zach, I mean, the stats, you can say there's certain things where a box score doesn't tell the full story, but right there it actually is telling the full story with Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about a player absolutely on fire right now. It seems like he's seeing a beach ball each and every time he goes up to the plate, and it's finding different ways every single time. It's not like some of these players where, you know, he's getting singles, he's getting doubles, and it's just like very casual. He's stretching things out. He wants to go get third. He got a triple the other night, and actually last night, big round of second on his double. Thought he honestly was going to go for 3, but he is just at all times looking to make as big of an impact as he can. And something you can't even see in these stats right now, we're talking about stats, not telling the whole story. Gunnar Henderson's defense. No. My gosh.
Yeah.
He's making web gem after web gem after web gem the past few games. It just feels like every time you look up or you hear a crowd pop, something, the announcer's going, oh my God, it's Gunnar Henderson making a play. And it's just like clockwork right now.
Well, and the other part here, so we'll get back into his hitting again, but you're right. And I've talked about this with multiple people, and I remember, it was funny. This is way back. Freddie Gonzalez, the bench coach, it's back in 2022. We were actually all in the same place in the same apartment complex because just staying for the season just happened to be that way. But we're out walking our dogs late at night, and we were talking about it, being like, hey, where do you think Gunnar's natural position is? And I'm like, it's shortstop. I think it should be shortstop. And people were trying to figure it out. And last year, Gunnar was trying to figure out, how to be a big leaguer first. So the pressure wasn't on him to play a lot of shortstop. You had Jorge Mateo. But I'll tell you what, guys, didn't it feel like when Gunnar took over to be shortstop? And yes, sometimes with throws needs to be a little bit more consistent on some of the more quote unquote routine plays. But Gunnar plays with a freedom and a versatility at shortstop that to me is unmatched on the team. You saw that play yesterday. The ball in the hole gets by Jordan Westberg. Gunnar gets to it, and there's only, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other players in Major League Baseball that have the arm strength and the ability to make that
maybe
play.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Like if that, like you said, if that, I'm thinking maybe a Bobby Witt Jr. could make a play like that. But after that, I'm not sure what other shortstop's making that play.
Well, and again, it's the for your shortstop, your goal is, or what you hope is, can they be consistent in the field and make the plays they have to make? Yes. But do they have a range to be able to make the plays that you might not be able to think that they're going to make, but they have the opportunity to, that can be game-changing type of plays? That's a game-changing type of play. Keeps a runner off the base. It's great. And you know what? I'm glad we have a little bit Alex Baltimore here, by the way. Mountcastle on first helps make Gunnar a bit better. You're damn right I give first baseman's love. Yeah, because you know why? I was a former first baseman, and I'll tell you what, first basemen deserve a lot of credit just from the sense, if you have a really good first baseman over there, one, it makes you overall your defense better, because if it's a ball in the dirt, range to be able to stretch to get a ball matters, but also for the player going to make the play like Gunnar did. Mm-hmm. Gunnar feels he can go out there and not have to feel like he has to be perfect getting the ball over there, and letting him just have his athletic ability take over, know that you have a guy over there that's going to pick you up when things aren't a little bit off-centered. That's the example right there. And it all comes together. And if you want to see a great infielder, especially shortstop or third baseman, show me their first baseman. I'm sure it's going to align with how their defensive play is going. So with Gunnar, though, back to the bat real quickly. Yeah, you mentioned in the last 10 games. Well, how about this in LA? He went 6 for 11 with 2 bombs, a triple, a double. So 4 of those 6 hits or for extra base hits, drives in 5 runs, makes the incredible plays. And guys, I was telling people this before, actually before Gunnar got called up. Zach, actually, I think we just talked about this before we went on air.
Yeah.
I said within the first 5 years, I thought Gunnar Henderson was going to be an MVP. And then during his rookie year last year, and this was back in June when he just started to come out of the funk, I was like, I'm changing my opinion or stance. In the next 2 seasons, Gunnar Henderson's going to win an MVP. And right now, the odds are still pretty high, but he's starting to look like he's one of the favorites. And I don't know if Kevin or Zach, you guys have the odds on that right now for Gunnar Henderson?
Yeah, let me pull it up right now to get the official. But so pretty much before the season started, you could get Gunnar at plus 2,000 odds to win the AL MVP. And I believe at this moment, he is at around 700 to the 750, 800, depending on the sports book you're at. But just absolutely unreal. He's got the 3rd best odds to win it right now.
And it is. And then the other one, so Juan Soto, Bobby Witt Jr. And Bobby Witt Jr. is a great player, by the way. Everyone already knows about Juan Soto, but I think Oriole fans, you got to see the Royals a couple times. Bobby Witt Jr. is the truth. He is a sensational player, but so is Gunnar Henderson. And actually, you know, people can make the argument Mike Trout looked good this weekend too, or this weekend during this week, but it still baffles me that Trout has 10 jacks and 13 RBIs. That means he's in a lot of solo home runs, and that's just kind of, unfortunately for the Angels, that's been their problem, is scoring runs overall this year. But for an Orioles lineup that has so much talent, and we've talked about Jordan Westburg and Colton Cowser, and Gunnar Henderson has a chance to now make it the 3rd straight Baltimore Oriole to win Player of the Week. There's a chance.
That would be.
I think it's happening.
It's unless he goes through a slump this weekend. Obviously, if he continues playing the way he is, or just a little bit less, I agree. It has to be him. He's just on a different level right now.
Yeah, that means you have to get Jordan, Colton, and Gunnar all doing the back-to-back celebration in the dugout.
We're gonna have to get Gunnar on the show then, because if you win Player of the Week, you come on the show. It's the rules.
It is the rules. So we're gonna have to work on that. So we might have to just tell the Orioles, hey, we don't make them, but we've already had 2 of them. Yeah, and the team's having success. And then Cowser went deep that night after he was on the show.
Yeah, I don't think the Orioles would want to mess with
Mojo
at that point. So
it's good juju, good juju at this point.
I'm just saying. Also, the other thing with Gunnar's game that people don't understand, as far as with his hit tool, his speed tool is so underrated. And Gunnar right now, actually, as we speak of this, he is 3rd in all baseball with 8 home runs at this current moment. He's got 20 RBIs. He is tied for the league lead in triples with 3. C.J. Abrams, Alex Kriloff, and Bobby Witt Jr. are also in that list. So Gunnar, as big as he is, the dude can move, guys. Kevin, he kind of reminds me of what you're going to be like running as the relish in the hot dog costume contest.
I am waxing everybody in that competition, but it's not even going to be close. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah. It's oh, well, we're going to talk about that for a while.
By the way, you can get Jackson Holliday plus 20,000 MVP.
To be MVP, I might not take those odds.
Yeah, probably not going to. But also, what I want to point out, you're talking speed. Last year, Gunnar had 10 stolen bases. This year, he already has 5. So he's getting more aggressive. And it's not just speed. And we've talked about this before. What makes Gunnar so special is his ability to know who's out there playing, to read balls off the bat, whether it's him being a base runner, him extending a double into a triple, or him stealing first to second, second to third. He's actually, I believe, 2 or 3 times this year. If he's sitting on second base and your third baseman is falling asleep, he's staying in a shift, he's not paying attention, Gunnar will take third base before you even throw the pitch. So his awareness is what really separates him. So yes, he's not the fastest guy of some of the guys he's competing with in these triples and steal categories, but it's his baseball mind and his awareness and his ability to say, screw it, I'm going to go take that base.
Yeah. And also back to his hit tool again, since we talked about his speed. Gunnar's 3rd in all baseball and slugging percentage at the moment. The only 2 guys ahead of them was Marcell Azuña. Couldn't get the pronunciation out there. and he's leading the MLB in RBIs with 29. And then the other one is the guy that signed for $700 million. Let me get the glasses. $700 million. And that is Shohei Ohtani. So to give you the context of just what Gunner's doing at his age is so special. And for those that are wondering about down the road, you can't let Gunner walk or you're nervous. Guys, I really have a confidence that Gunnar Henderson is going to be a Baltimore Oriole for a while. And his superstar power right now, this wasn't he can be a superstar. He is a superstar. People need to realize that Gunnar Henderson is not just another player that has potential. The potential and the star power, everything is already there. There is nothing this kid cannot do.